What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host Josh, and today we are going to be taking a look at the 2021-2022 Borussia Dortmund starting lineup under Marco Rose. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Okay guys, before we just jump right in, I'm going to have to ask you guys to please drop a like on this video. I'm very excited to get through it. It's going to be a little bit hypothetical, and also if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe. But we're going to take a look at Marco Rose. We do have a brand new manager coming in who's going to have to implement his new formations, his new tactics, and I'm going to address 3 different formations that I think Marco Rose will be tempted to use and will probably use at some point next season. So without further ado, let's just get right into the very first one, which is the one you probably assume. It's the formation that we have played a lot. It's, in my opinion, when you look at Borussia Dortmund over the last decade, it's the formation that really solidifies how we play and the formation that really shows kind of what Dortmund's all about. And that is the 4-2-3-1. Formation we've played under Klopp, formation we've played under Favre, and a formation that we play under Terzic. Not every game, obviously, but we have played the 4-2-3-1 under Terzic a lot, which means the personnel that we have in this current squad is very used to this system. On top of the fact that is a formation that Marco Rose used a lot at Gladbach this season, and I think that he'll just be enticed to use it because it fits. I think some of the key pieces he'll be looking to bring in will fit it naturally as well. And in my opinion, I think the majority of next season will be played in the 4-2-3-1, especially showing how this current squad has adapted to it and how Marco Rose has really implemented it well towards the last little bit in his Gladbach tenure. But now we're also going to do a little bit of hypothetical with some of the players. So I'm going to give you the best 11, in my opinion, next season of what it will look like in the 4-2-3-1. So starting in goal is our new keeper, Kobel. No real reason. We just spent 15 mil on this guy. He's going to be between the sticks. He's our starter. Out on right back, and I'm talking about the start of next season as is. So we know Murray, who, in my opinion, would be our starting right back, because I've said to you guys many times, I don't think we're going to go out and spend money on a right back. So our starting right back for the start of next season in the 4-2-3-1 will be Thomas Meunier. Now hold your horses. I know you guys aren't excited about it, but we're hoping that that first season jitters maybe will go away. Maybe he'll have a very strong appearance with the Belgian national side at the Euros. He may win the Euros. There's a good possibility that he'll have a bounce back season and maybe take a step to embrace that right back. And if not, in a couple months' time, we will have Murray there. But at the start of the season, it will be Meunier as our right back because I really don't see us investing money there. 2 center backs, they pick themselves no matter who we may sign at the center back position. That is Akanji, that is Hummels, with Guerrero being our left back. No real need to address those starting positions, even though we may sign a center back. 2 CDMs is very interesting, and personally, I don't think there's any way you can't put these 2 in. It is Dahoud, it is Jude. There is a question you could say, well, where's your real natural number 6? Where's your Delaney? Where's your potential Chan? I don't know if Delaney's going to be here next season, to be completely honest, and I don't think he breaks into the best 11, honestly, with these 2 other players in Dahoud and Bellingham, but I can definitely say that Chan doesn't break in. So even though that Dahoud and Bellingham aren't those real natural 6s, Dahoud can definitely slide back and play that defensive aspect when he needs to. He can drop deep, he likes having him some time on the ball, and he will be more that defensive outlet, and just the pure energy of Bellingham, I think, will balance that out. It's not the ideal 2 defensive midfielders that you'd want because I think that they play better in a midfield 3, but I still think out of our current squad and even some players that we may bring in if we do look at the center midfielder position, it is those 2. And then the front 3s are where it gets fun because we've talked about the 50-50. We really have. We've talked about the 50-50 of whether Sancho will be here, will he not. There are some big rumors coming up of whether he will going to United, going to Chelsea, going to Liverpool. So that's a question mark. Obviously, if he stays, he's going to be on the left-hand side in that wing position. And if he doesn't, I've really struggled taking a look at who jumps out after the links to Akone are gone. Depay obviously was huge way back at the beginning of last season, not an option anymore. Do we go for someone like Nico Gonzalez? Do we go for Diaby? I really don't know where we're going to go. So I'm going to go for Old Faithful because I heard from a very legitimate source that there's a gentleman's agreement with Mullins. So that's the only bit of shred of evidence I have right now. So like I said, this is going to be the optional. This is not by any stretch of the imagination the actual starting 11. This is my opinion. So it's either going to be Jadon Sancho if he stays, or I'm putting Mullin on that left-hand side and we're going to adapt him into a bit of a winger, which means that Marco Reus will be our center attacking mid, and I'm putting on the right-hand side Hazard because I think Hazard's going to have a brand new lifeline after the Euros, after this pretty poor season by his standards with the injuries and just not being able to break in. I think he's going to have to thrive on that right-hand side, and I think Marco Rose will definitely give him a shot with Haaland up front. There is our starting 11 under the 4-2-3-1 next season. Going on to a very interesting formation, and the reason you'll find out why I picked Malen as that natural guy, why not a real natural winger, is because you're going to find out. One, like I said, there is that gentleman's agreement, there's the agent, there's obviously those connections, so I still feel like Malen's got that outside chance of coming. Nevertheless, the next formation we're going to be looking at is the 4-1-2-1-2, the narrow variation of that, and it's a very interesting one. It's a formation I don't expect us to play a ton next season, maybe in strategic games that may call for it. I don't honestly like it. I feel like it can be played in a lot better way. I prefer to be like the 4-3-2-1 rather than that, instead of having those two strikers, but Marco Rose does find a unique way to make it work, and we're going to plug some players into it. So the team almost rewrites itself. It is going to be Kobel in net. Our right back still will be Meunier. You can use Murray if you wanted to, but he is injured. There is Akanji, there's Hummels, there's Guerrero. Now that number 6 comes into play, and this is where the one real change has to come in. I'm going to put Delaney there, even though I don't think Delaney, there's a chance that Delaney won't be there, and if it's not, it's Chan. So, I mean, take your pick. For me, if Delaney stays, he's at number 6 I want. And I think he'll get, again, another fair shout under Marco Rose, because if it was under Terzic, you better believe that would be Chan. But for me, on that number 6 role, I'm putting Delaney above that in their two best positions, having the option to go up as number 8s. You have Dahoud, you have Bellingham, Royce as your center attacking mid, and then you have your two strikers where it's interesting. And I'm going to say, if we utilize this formation, it may mean we sold Jadon Sancho. So this hypothetical is around the opinion that Sancho leaves. The first one was he stayed, / maybe left. The second one is that he did leave, because if Sancho leaves, I could see in this other player we brought in is a legitimate reason we could use his 4-1-2-1-2, and that would be Royce as cam, the two strikers, Haaland and Malen. Two good strikers. You could also throw Mukuku in there when you need to. I mean, there are different options when it comes. It takes away some of the winger aspect where you're not really going to see Hazard in. You can't even really fit Sancho in. You could throw him in as a striker. It's not his natural position. But this is a formation where if you brought in Malen, it does look fairly pretty. You guys are probably looking at it right now and being like, that is a good starting 11. And it is. That's why I went with it. And then the final formation we're looking for is the back 3. It has been utilized time to time for Dortmund under Lucien Favre. It has been even touched very slightly by Terzic, but Marco Rose has definitely used the back 3 before, and I think our personnel could really thrive in certain games in a back 3. So the back 3 obviously will be a 4-3-3. I know that sometimes Rosa could go the 3-4-1-2, but this will be a 3-4-3 given the winger situation. So in net we'll have Kobel. Right wing back, we will still have Meunier. Again, it would be Murray. We know that. You could put a shout for Hazard. I know Hazard can do a job, but in my opinion, you can't rely on an attacking player playing a defensive role. It doesn't work like that. I would not start him. I would personally start Meunier over Hazard, and I'm saying that with the hopes that he has a very strong Euros, that he does break in, and he has a decent Dortmund career and has a real revenge season in his second season for a relatively poor one on his standards. So I will still put him in the right wing back. It is what he plays for Belgium. We know that he can do it well. And he will be starting on the right wing back spot with our 3 center backs. St. Just is the one I'm going for, the new signing. Hopefully we'll get from Mainz. He will come in as a 3rd string center back in my opinion, but when we need to, he is quick. He can play at the outside center back, and he will sit very kindly there on the outside center back. And again, this is speculative. This is if we sign him. I think that there's a good chance that we will. Central center back will be Hummels playing that quarterback role, and if you're looking at a player that could maybe grow from playing in a 3-4-3, it's Hummels, because you see some of his best movements, some of his passing ability when he's able to step up in a quarterback role like that, and I think he would really enjoy at his age and him losing a little bit of pace playing with 2 central defenders. I think that could help him, even though at the end of the season he obviously showed that he can clearly play in a back 2, with the left outside center back being Akanji. And then the second player I think that would really benefit from this formation would be Guerrero. You guys obviously know the reason why, a very attacking fullback. Having 3 center backs would allow him to go up, get way more involved in the play, and take a little bit of the defensive duty away from what he does. He will be the left wing back 100%, with your 2 midfielders being Bellingham and Dahoud, no question about it. I think, again, you could argue that it could even benefit them. Not having that real natural number 6, but you have 3 center backs, still alleviates some of that defensive pressure, even though they still have to have, especially Dahoud, some defensive awareness to his game in this formation. And then it finally leaves the front 3, which this one will be whether you want to say Sancho leaves, Sancho stays. On the left-hand side, if Sancho stays, it's Sancho. If Sancho leaves, it's Malen. He can play the wing. There is that connection. It could, by tomorrow, we could get linked to another winger. I don't know. It's whatever winger's coming in, but I'm just, for fun of it, because I've been mentioning him all season, I'm throwing Malen there on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, we're still going to stick with Hazard. Again, a bit of a redemption season for him, hopefully breaking in under Marco Rose. And our striker being Erling Haaland. So obviously in all three of these formations, there's some notable names I didn't really include. One of them being young Gio. So I'm very sorry to our U.S. men's national teams fans. I do think he'll have a role to play, and he may be able to take on that role on the right-hand side and take Hazard out. Brandt's another one, but just seeing at the tail end of this season, they're in my opinion, they're not quite there to break into this, especially the way that Rose is going to play. I see Hazard there. I think he's got a little bit more to his game on the wing than Gio would, and Gio's not getting in, especially on a rested over the summer in form Marco Reus. So those are my three best starting 11s in the three formations that I believe Marco Rose will play in the 2021-2022 season. You guys can let me know in the comments if you agree. If you're a Brandt fan, if you're a Gio fan, let me know exactly where you think that they would fit in. If there's any rumors of players that you think may be able to come in, switch up the balance there. The big question mark is Sancho, which is why I included him / didn't include him. And obviously our hopefully new central center back. And of course, Kobel made it in all three squads, of course. So guys, let me know. I've had a lot of fun making this and kind of coming up with the way I believe that Marco Rose will come in. But if I'm going to put it by probability, I think 70% of the games will be played in the 4-2-3-1. And I think the remaining 30, 15 each to the 3-4-3 and the 4-1-2-1-2, because I really think that the 4-2-3-1, especially if Rosa hits the ground running, will be our formation next season. So guys, let me know what you think. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.